Do you want to mix your kick and your sub bass perfectly? Do you want to have the perfect sub bass volume? Do you want to feel that kick in your chest? I have the solutions for you. Yo, what is up guys, welcome to a new video. My name is Wildcrow and today I'm gonna show you how to mix perfectly your kick and your sub bass. This way you're not gonna have any problems and your song is gonna sound perfect. So well, let's start with this, but please remember to leave a like and comment something. I mean, I don't care what you comment. Maybe you can comment, you know, like a comment where you say comment. This way there's more engagement, people shows more this video, I get motivated and I make more videos. And also subscribe so you don't miss any videos. So I'm gonna use the project of my song Out of My Head, and I have here the kick and the sub bass. And here, as you can see, I have two reference songs. Those reference songs are mine because of copyright, you know. The first thing you need to make sure is that you have a good kick with enough sub bass. If you don't have this, change it for another one. Okay, if your kick sounds really dirty or doesn't have enough punch, just look for another kick. There are tons of kicks in every sample pack and it's gonna be way easier. For example, my kick sounds like this. This is the kind of kick I wanted for this song, so it sounds good to me and has enough sub bass. But Wildcrow, how much is enough sub bass? I'm gonna tell you later. But if you don't have enough sub bass, what I recommend is to use the R bass by Waves or the Kashmir Essentials kick that is free. It's so simple to use. You just put here the key of your kick, in this case G sharp, and then you just boost this and you have a lot of sub bass. Then you also need to make sure that your sub bass sounds good enough and it's not too high or too low. In this particular case, this sub bass sounds like this. And it's good, but sometimes you have it up here and you can hear it, you think it's good, but it doesn't have enough sub bass. You can just look it up here, check the difference, or use an EQ and see that it doesn't have that much sub bass here. There's no sub bass at all, so you need to put it one octave lower. But right now, it's way too low, you don't really hear it and it's not really there. So then, one octave higher, and here is perfect. We hear it and we feel it. Also, maybe sometimes you have notes that go down like this. And maybe this is too low. So there's no problem at all if you take just this note and you put it one octave higher. This way it's gonna fit better. Now that you have a good kick and a good sub bass, what you need to make sure is that they are not touching each other. Because in the sub frequencies, if two sounds are touching, it's gonna sound so bad. Probably you're gonna have phase issues and well, you need to make sure that they are not touching. How can you achieve this? With sidechain. Right now there's no sidechain, so we have the kick like this and the bass like this. So when we play them, maybe if you don't have that much experience, you think it doesn't sound that bad, but yeah, it's sounding bad. You can just go to the sub bass and put the sidechain like this one. Touch it the way you want, or maybe use the MIDI and the audio triggers. I have a video in my channel about Kickstarter 2 where I show you how to use it perfectly in FL Studio, but of course, check it after this video. But for the kick on the sub bass, I prefer to use the volume shaper because I have a bit more control on the waveform of the sidechain. And as you can see here, it says kick, because what I'm gonna do now is put this sidechain on the kick. Don't get crazy, let me explain this. If we play this, we can see the waveform of the kick, and what I want to make sure is that the kick doesn't sound in the middle, okay? Here it stops. But also really important, I don't recommend you to have it like this and have it come back a little bit before, so you make sure that then at the beginning it sounds perfect. And we're gonna do a kind of waveform like this, you know, like a kick shape. Now we click here, we go to Save Preset As, and you click and drag it to the drop bass. So now we have these two, the one on the kick and the one on the sub bass. But this one on the sub bass is not good because right now they are playing both on this place here, and so they are clashing. What you want to do is right click and mirror on X axis. Right now they are perfectly mixed, or that's the theory. Because when this one reduces, this one increases, so they are never touching. If we play them, as you can see, they are never touching, but for me, this is a bit too aggressive. It's too much like Melbourne Bounce, you know, like to cut. I prefer to have them that when you listen, you don't really think there's sidechain, but there is. So first of all, I'm gonna delete the one on the kick. I don't need it anymore. I just wanted the waveform. And now for the one on the sub bass, what I'm gonna do is make it a bit smoother, more like this. There's still sidechain, they are not touching, but it's not that aggressive. But now, what volume should be the kick and what volume should be the sub bass? Let me show you. For this, we're gonna use two things. We're gonna use one EQ where we're gonna create a filter, maybe on 150, something like this. And we're gonna use this free plugin, the SM Exoscope, but it's gonna show us the waveform. And this is the kick, and this is the bass. And what happens if we remove the sidechain? We can see here perfectly the kick is so beautiful, you know, this is the bass, but then here we remove the sidechain. Look at this, how good it looks, and look here. So that's why it's important to have sidechain. They are touching here. So if you have maybe a too soft sidechain, as you can see, the kick is not the same every time. Here is louder, so here is like flatter, here is more like the kick. So this means that you have a wrong sidechain. But I said I was going to show you what volume should be the kick and what volume should be the sub bass. For this, we're gonna use the reference song. songs. The first thing you need to make sure is that the reference song is at the same volume as yours. To do this, you can do it different ways, just using your ears like this. Or you also can use the Julian loudness meter. We're gonna check our song. Around minus 19.5. And now we check the reference song and we try to match this volume. Maybe reduce a little bit the volume. So now we put again the filter on the master and we're gonna check with SM Exoscope the reference song. As you can see, this is the kick and this is the bass. We're gonna put a line on top of the kick, right here. And now we're gonna check our song. As you can see, our kick is good, has enough volume. And now we're gonna do the same with the bass. We check the reference song, the bass is around here. Every note is a bit different, so around here more or less. And now we check our song. It's good, good, maybe here a bit loud, here is good. So maybe here you can decide to reduce a little bit. But as you can see, the kick is always a bit louder than the sub bass. This is a good tip that you can have in mind. But now, if the kick is not loud enough, what should you do? Increase the volume of the kick? Yes and no. If you increase the volume of the kick, you're gonna be increasing all the frequencies. Maybe the problem on your kick is not the volume of it, it's the balance of the frequencies. So what I recommend to do is to check first the volume of the kick without any filter. So check first the reference and then our song. So as you can see, our kick is a good volume in the bass and also with the entire song, so it's good. But what happens if maybe your kick is a bit too quiet with the entire song? Okay, increase the volume, but then probably your basses are gonna be a bit loud, so reduce a bit on the bass. Another important thing to check to make sure that your kick and your bass are perfect is to use a span. The span is a frequency analyzer, you can use others, but this one is pretty precise and has something that I want to show you, that's why I want you to use this one. I have a span before the filter of the master, that's why we can see all the frequencies. And the thing with this is that we're gonna check first the reference song and we're gonna focus on this. When, as you can see here, you can see the volume. So what we're gonna do is to check that around 60-80 Hz, the volume usually is around minus 45, minus 40 dBs. So what we want to make sure is that our song in these frequencies between 60 and 80 Hz is also at this volume. For example, as you can see, most of the time it's a bit quiet. So what you can do is try to increase a bit more the kick. But Wildcrow, if it's quiet there, how do I know if I need to increase the kick and the sub bass? What you can do is put a sidechain on the master. I'm gonna put this sidechain on the master just to make sure there's no kick in the songs. So right now we can see only the volume of the sub bass, that is at minus 47. We check our song. So yeah, is more or less at this volume. So if we needed to increase, it's because of the kick. But of course, the last thing you need to make sure is that you like it. All these things are gonna help you to make sure that the kick and the bass, they are not touching, they are a good volume and so. But every song is different. Maybe the reference song you're using is not in the same key as yours, so maybe you need to increase a bit more the bass, or maybe reduce a bit the bass. So as every song is different, what I recommend to do is to have 1, 2, 3 reference songs, compare between all of them, and then when you have a good volume compared to them, just touch them a little bit to your taste. So nothing else, guys. I hope you like it. I hope it helps you, and I hope now you can have a good kick and bass relation like they are the best marriage ever, you know, and they work together perfectly. Remember, more likes and more comments in this video means more videos, and as there are more videos, you need to subscribe so you don't miss those videos, okay? And also, thank you so much to all these Patreon members for supporting me. If you want to be a Patreon member, down below in the description you have the link. There you have all the information, but basically you're gonna have sample packs, sound banks, you're gonna have a lot of help from me, an exclusive Telegram group, and a lot more other things. But nothing else, guys. I hope you like this video, I hope it helps you, and see you in the next video.